Have you ever wondered why your money, your own hard-earned cash, moves slower than a text message? Here's the uncomfortable truth. While you're stuck waiting 3 to 5 business days for a bank transfer, Hedera just proved it can move $5.4 trillion 0 cents a day instantly. And almost nobody in America is paying attention. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "interested" in the comments, and I will give you a heart. Let me hit you with a real question. Have you ever tried sending money on a Friday afternoon in the US? You log into your bank, click transfer, and then you see it, that dreaded line, funds will be available in 3 and 5 business days. Business days. It's 2025 and we're still waiting for money to crawl through wires like it's the 1970s. Now imagine this. Michelle, a small business owner in Ohio, just closed a big order for her online store. Her client paid her $20,000, 0 cents, for bulk inventory. But when she goes to access her money, the bank freezes a chunk of it for processing. She's got bills to pay, employees waiting on payroll, and suppliers demanding their share. She can see the funds, but she can't touch them. Why? Because America's legacy financial system still moves like a snail. This is where Hedera HBAR kicks in and why the recent news about token listings, market access, and real-world adoption matters to you. Let's be brutally honest here. The US financial system might be one of the largest, but it's also one of the most outdated. Wire transfers can cost $25, 0 cents to $50, 0 cents per transaction. Checks still take days to clear. Credit card networks charge 2 to 3% in fees every time you swipe. That's money straight out of the pockets of hardworking Americans. And while the Federal Reserve talks about modernizing payments through FedNow, most banks aren't even fully integrated yet. Translation? You're still paying the price for inefficiency every single day. Now here comes Hedera, the same network that processes transactions in 3 to 5 seconds for a fraction of a cent is quietly sneaking into the US financial bloodstream. While most people are distracted with Bitcoin headlines, Hedera is making moves with tokenization, payments, and regulated digital assets that could fix exactly what's broken in Michelle's story. Let me put it simply. Michelle could have paid her suppliers instantly. No middlemen, no frozen funds, no 3-day delays. Hedera isn't promising to make this happen someday. It's already showing us what's possible. And I want you to picture this on a personal level. Have you ever had rent due on a Monday, but your paycheck pending until Wednesday? That gap isn't just frustrating, it's terrifying. Americans pay billions of dollars a year in overdraft fees because of settlement delays. Banks profit off your waiting. Now flip that with Hedera. Instant settlement, pennies in cost, 24/7 availability, no waiting for business hours, no begging your bank to speed it up. That's freedom. And here's where it gets big. We're not just talking about mom and pop stores. We're talking about Wall Street institutions like Lloyd's Bank, Aberdeen, and Archax already testing tokenized trades on Hedera. These aren't crypto hobbyists. These are billion-dollar players saying, hey, this technology works better than the system we've been chained to for decades. Think about the implications. If Wall Street is using Hedera for trillion-dollar trades, what happens when Main Street realizes they can too? You might be asking, okay, but where's the proof in America? Let's talk stablecoins. In 2025, the US has finally accepted that regulated stablecoins are the future. From PayPal's PySD to Circle's USDC, digital dollars are becoming household names. But most of those still sit on networks with higher fees and slower speeds. That's where Hedera's edge comes in. It's carbon negative, ridiculously fast, and insanely cheap. Imagine your Venmo, your Cash App, your Zelle, except it settles instantly, globally, and without the $25, 0 cents wire transfer fee slapped on top. And yes, regulators are watching closely. Hedera's partnerships with enterprises and its track record of being governed by giants like Google, IBM, and Boeing give it a credibility most blockchains can only dream of. Here's why this isn't just another crypto update. It's about timing. Right now, the US economy is dealing with high inflation, expensive credit, and an entire generation drowning in fees. Americans are desperate for alternatives. The system is begging for disruption. And here comes Hedera scaling tokenization, processing payments faster than anyone else, and getting invited to global conferences like Sibos 2025, where bankers aren't just listening, they're taking notes. Let's go back to Michelle in Ohio. Her $20,000 0 cents stuck in limbo meant stress, arguments with suppliers, and sleepless nights. Multiply that story by millions of small businesses across America. That's families struggling because their money isn't where it should be in their hands. With Hedera, that stress starts to disappear. And once people experience it, once they see their money move instantly, the old way will look like a joke. But this is just the beginning, because while Hedera is fixing the everyday problems Americans face with payments, it's also tapping into something far bigger, a $5 trillion, $400 billion 0 cents per day market in the UK and beyond. That's where the story explodes. Because if Hedera can prove itself in America's backyard and then scale globally, we're not just talking about a new coin, we're talking about the backbone of the future financial system. And trust me, you're gonna wanna see what happens when Hedera collides with the world's largest markets. Oh, and quick sidebar, if you've ever cursed at your bank app for holding your money hostage, go ahead and smash that like button right now. It's our way of telling the banks, we see the future and it doesn't include you. Let's talk about DeFi, because this is where things get spicy. You've probably heard the word thrown around: decentralized finance, yield farming, swapping, liquidity pools. For most Americans, DeFi sounds like a complicated casino. Gas fees, clunky interfaces, and scams lurking at every corner. That's why millions of regular folks never bothered to touch it. But Hedera is changing that narrative, and the key to this shift is SaucerSwap. Now, SaucerSwap isn't just another copycat of Uniswap or PancakeSwap. It's purpose-built to leverage Hedera's insane speed and low fees. We're talking about trading tokens in seconds for fractions of a penny. Instead of paying $30 0 cents to $50 0 cents on Ethereum just to make a single move, imagine this. Eric, a college grad in Texas, finally decides to dip his toes into DeFi. He hears about a new token project, but when he tries to buy on Ethereum, the fees cost him more than the token itself. He gives up, annoyed, thinking DeFi is only for whales. But then he stumbles onto SaucerSwap, tries a trade with $20, 0 cents, and it goes through instantly. No crazy fees, no delays. Just clean, efficient transactions. Suddenly DeFi feels accessible. And here's the kicker, SaucerSwap's native token, Sauce, just got listed on major platforms. This means more liquidity, more exposure, and a growing user base. For the first time, US investors who might have ignored DeFi now have a reason to care. Think about what this means. If DeFi becomes user-friendly, you're not just talking about speculation. You're talking about lending, borrowing, yield opportunities, and tokenized assets, all flowing through a frictionless system. This isn't just hype. The DeFi market globally hit over $50 billion, 0 cents in total value locked TVL in 2025, and it's still growing. Now imagine Hedera capturing even a fraction of that market with its efficiency. Here's what's fascinating. The US has one of the highest rates of unbanked or underbanked populations in the developed world. Over 5 million households with no access to a traditional bank. Add another 20 million households that are underbanked, meaning they rely on payday loans, check cashing services, and money orders. These people are paying outrageous fees just to move their own money. DeFi on Hedera through platforms like SaucerSwap offers a way out. Instant access, no gatekeepers, and no $40 0 cent transaction fees standing in the way. And let's not forget, energy efficiency matters. In a world where regulators are cracking down on Bitcoin's power consumption, Hedera runs on a network that's carbon negative. Try explaining to a regulator why you want to process thousands of transactions on an energy hog when Hedera can do it cleaner, faster, and cheaper. That's not just innovation, it's survival. Here's where I want you to pause and reflect. Imagine your 401k, your savings, your mortgage, all integrated into tokenized instant settlement systems that look more like SaucerSwap than Wells Fargo. It sounds futuristic, but it's closer than you think. And this is where Hedera's DeFi story connects back to you. Because while Wall Street experiments with tokenization, SaucerSwap is showing the blueprint for everyday Americans. It's not about getting rich quick, it's about building financial freedom without middlemen. Now, stick with me, because while SaucerSwap is opening the DeFi door, Hedera is also stepping onto the biggest stage in global finance, Sibos 2025, and what happens there could redefine everything you think you know about money. Picture this. You're walking into a massive conference hall in New York. Every big name in banking is there. JP Morgan, Citi, HEC, suits everywhere. And right in the middle of this global powerhouse gathering, Hedera. That's exactly what's happening at Sibos 2025, the biggest annual banking and financial conference on the planet. This isn't a crypto convention with influencers waving NFT art. This is the real deal. Central bankers, regulators, payment innovators, all gathered to discuss the future of money. And guess who's presenting? Rob Allen, director at Hedera. This is massive because Sibos isn't about dreams, it's about strategy. And the topics Hedera is addressing, payments, tokenization, digital identity, AI, are the core issues the financial world is scrambling to solve. Let's zoom into payments. The US alone processes over $5 trillion, 0 cents, in payments daily. Yet we're stuck with systems that often take days to settle. That lag costs American businesses billions in lost time and fees. Hedera steps up and says, we can do it in seconds, securely, for fractions of a cent. Then there's tokenization. Imagine stocks, real estate, bonds, all represented as digital tokens you can trade instantly. This isn't sci-fi, it's happening now, and Hedera is positioning itself at the forefront. In digital identity, think of how many times you've had to verify yourself with passwords, driver's licenses, credit checks. Hedera is working on solutions where your identity is tokenized and secure, on-chain, instant, private, and fraud-proof. But the real emotional punch here is this. For years, crypto projects begged for legitimacy. They wanted a seat at the table with bankers. Hedera didn't just get a seat, it got the microphone. This is like a rookie basketball player suddenly being called to play alongside LeBron in the NBA Finals. It's not just exposure, it's validation. And here's the bigger point. When the banking world sees Hedera presenting not as a competitor but as a partner, the narrative changes. Suddenly, HBAR isn't just some altcoin, it's infrastructure. It's a solution to trillion-dollar problems. But if you think Sibos is impressive, wait until you see what Hedera has already rolled out in Australia. A project that proves stablecoins aren't theory anymore, they're reality. Now buckle up because this is where the story goes global. In June 2025, something happened that most Americans completely missed. The launch of the Australian digital dollar, AUDDD, on Hedera. Let's break this down. This isn't a meme coin or a trial run. This is a fully backed one-to-one stable coin issued on Hedera, pegged directly to the Australian dollar. And it's already live. Why does this matter to you sitting in the US? Because what starts in Australia often sets the tone for the Asia Pacific region, one of the fastest growing financial markets in the world. If it works there, it can spread fast. Here's the benefit. The Australian digital dollar moves money in 3 to 5 seconds with near no fees. Compare that to the US system where ACH transfers take days, wires cost $25, 0 cents, and credit card fees eat into every transaction. AUDD isn't just faster, it's smarter. Businesses in Australia are already seeing projected savings of $13 billion, 0 cents annually by using this system. Think about that. Billions of dollars that used to vanish into banking black holes are now staying in the hands of businesses and families. Let's put a face to it. Sarah, who runs a surf shop in Sydney, used to dread international supplier payments. Each transfer took days and cost hundreds in fees. With add-on Hedera, her payments clear instantly. Her cash flow improves, her business grows. That's the power of real-world adoption. And here's the bigger twist. The Reserve Bank of Australia has tapped AUDD for pilot projects in programmable finance and tokenized asset settlement. Translation: this isn't some side experiment, this is central bank level endorsement. Now ask yourself, if Australia can do this, how long until the US dollar follows? Regulators here are already studying stablecoins, and Congress has bills on the table to regulate and greenlight them. When it happens, Hedera has a proven model ready to scale. So yes, the Australian digital dollar is making waves overseas, but in the UK, Hedera just pulled off something even bigger, bringing tokenized assets into the heart of global finance. Now we get to the real fireworks. Imagine the UK home to one of the largest financial hubs in the world. London isn't just a city, it's a trading beast, handling over $5 trillion, $400 billion, 0 cents in foreign exchange and interest rate derivatives every single day. It's not yearly, not monthly, daily. And in 2025, something groundbreaking happened. Archax, Lloyds Bank, and Aberdeen Investments executed tokenized trades using Hedera. For context, Archax is a regulated digital asset exchange in the UK, and Lloyds is one of the country's biggest banks. These aren't startups, they're financial giants. Together, they tokenized money market funds and used them as collateral in real-world FX trades. So why does this matter? Because collateral is the lifeblood of trading. It's what keeps markets liquid and secure. Traditionally, collateral management is slow, expensive, and paperwork heavy, but Hedera just proved it can be done digitally, instantly, and securely. Let me make it personal. Imagine you're a trader waiting for collateral to clear. Every minute you wait, you risk losing opportunities. With tokenization on Hedera, collateral moves instantly. No waiting, no wasted billions in inefficiency. And let's not forget the quote from Archax CEO Graham Rodvard: "The benefits aren't theoretical or years away, they're here delivering value right now." That's the kind of statement that changes industries. Think about the scale. If even 1% of that $5.4 trillion, 0 cents daily volume runs on Hedera, we're talking tens of billions of dollars. And that's just one market. This isn't crypto speculation anymore. This is the financial backbone of the world experimenting with Hedera as its new infrastructure. And here's where the story shifts. Tokenized collateral is just the start, because once they've proven it works, the next step is scaling it to trillions. So here's the key word: scale. Hedera isn't just dipping its toes, it's preparing to swim in oceans of capital. Archax's work in the UK is proof, but now the London Stock Exchange itself is building a blockchain-based private funds platform. And guess who's one of the first on board? Archax, powered by Hedera. This means we're entering a world where regulated, tokenized assets, stocks, bonds, funds, can be issued and traded seamlessly. No delays, no endless paperwork, just instant transactions with full compliance. Now here's the data. Tokenized money market funds have grown over 7,400% since 2023, reaching $7.4 billion, 0 cents in assets under management. That's insane growth in just 2 years, and this is just the warm-up. Think of Daniel, a 29-year-old analyst in New York. He spends his days buried in spreadsheets, reconciling trades that could have settled instantly if tokenized. With Hedera, his entire workflow collapses from days into seconds. That means more efficiency, fewer errors, and billions saved in wasted labor costs. Now let's connect the dots. If Hedera helps scale tokenized assets across global markets, we're not just talking billions, we're talking trillions. And remember, the FX market alone is $5.4 trillion, 0 cents per day. Capture even a fraction, and you're looking at volumes that dwarf the entire current crypto market. This is why I keep hammering on scale, because once financial giants trust the system, the growth curve doesn't go up gradually, it explodes. And while this plays out, Hedera isn't stopping at the UK. It's already spreading into other global markets. Let's step back for a second. Hedera might have been born in the US, but its fingerprints are everywhere now. In Africa, the Nairobi Securities Exchange has been testing blockchain-based settlement systems on Hedera. Imagine millions of small trades moving instantly in a region where banking access is limited. That's empowerment on a massive scale. In the Middle East, the Dubai International Financial Center courts are using Hedera for digital document notarization. That's legal adoption, binding, enforceable, and enterprise grade. In Asia, the Monetary Authority of Singapore has run trials with Hedera for tokenized payments. Singapore isn't just any country, it's one of the most innovative financial hubs in the world. And in the US, Hedera continues to work with Google, IBM, Boeing, and other governing council members, building credibility with regulators and enterprises alike. Let's not forget the emotional side. Kwame, a small entrepreneur in Kenya, uses Hedera-powered platforms to sell his goods internationally. Payments that once took days now clear in seconds. That's not just innovation, that's survival. The message is clear. Hedera is no longer just an American project. It's global infrastructure, and the more countries it touches, the more unstoppable the network becomes. But here's the twist. Most Americans still think crypto is dead. They're distracted by price charts, while the rails for trillions of dollars are being laid under their feet. And that brings us to the most important question: why now? Here's the truth. Right now, as you watch this video, most of America is sleeping on crypto. People think the bull run is years away. They think innovation is happening somewhere else. But in reality, Hedera is already embedding itself into trillion-dollar markets. And this matters because timing is everything. In 2008, while the financial crisis destroyed wealth, some people were buying Apple stock at $12.00. They saw the future while others panicked. Today feels exactly the same. Think about it. Hedera is solving real-world problems. Broken payments, inefficient collateral, costly delays. It's not a white paper dream, it's delivering value right now. The consequence of ignoring this: missed opportunity. Imagine explaining to your kids in 2035 that you had the chance to buy into Hedera when it was powering the first tokenized FX trades, but you thought it was just another altcoin. John, a truck driver in Illinois, has been burned by fees every time he wires money to his family in Mexico. In 2025, he finally tries a Hedera-based stablecoin transfer. It costs pennies and takes seconds. For the first time, he feels like the system works for him, not against him. That's the story of Hedera. It's not about speculation, it's about transformation. So why now? Because we are standing at the doorway of the largest wealth transfer in history. When trillions start moving on Hedera, the price won't be what it is today. By then, the train will have left the station.